What is a narrative literature review? A narrative literature review is a complete critical analysis of current knowledge on a specific topic. So no, I don't have to write a narrative literature review for this project. It is important to me that I write a narrative literature review for the Labor Pains Project because it is important that this project is well researched. I've done research for my creative projects in the past, but I would definitely categorize it as very informal research. In the past, I'll have my notes and my Post-its and I'll even have a list of sources, but it goes nowhere. No one sees it. It's just in my head. It's what I use in order to inform the language and the setting and the props and the things that have to do with the script that I'm writing. This kind of research, because I'm actually looking and seeking places where I can have it published in a peer-reviewed article or journal, it's daunting, but it's exhilarating, and it's also just really a testament to the fact that this particular project, especially the art installation piece of this project, it's important that it's communicated very clearly. This type of review tends to be the first step of any really in-depth research project. I am incredibly grateful to all of my teachers and professors and family members that really honed in research skills for me. I grew up in a household with encyclopedias, like the old school encyclopedias before we had computers in the home. And I had 2 sets of encyclopedias before I was 9. And my father's theory was whatever information wasn't in one would undoubtedly be in another. And in addition to the 2 sets of encyclopedias, I had a globe on my desk, as well as a dictionary, an American Heritage Dictionary. From a very early age, I was taught to look things up. If I had a question, I had to first formulate the question, and then I had to use the tools at my disposal to look up the answer to whatever that question was. And that is a great skill to develop in an adolescent. It helped me form my opinions. It helped me determine how to critique the sources that I was going through. And the older I got, the more I was able to ask for specific types of sources. I want this kinds of information. I want these kinds of books. I had lots of questions. I was super, super curious. And my parents definitely gave me tools to feed that curiosity. So it's no surprise that by the time I got to my undergraduate career, I gravitated towards these classes where I had to write papers that required research. I really enjoyed doing research. It just feels natural to me. This is how I ended up a history major. With a concentration in sociology and theater. And the Labor Pains Project really allows me to use all of those skills. Using all of these different techniques and tools that I'm using, the creative process of body mapping and guided storytelling, and I'm using the process of direct community engagement for oral history collection, and I'm using the process of deep history research in order to create these body maps for historical figures like Zora Neale Hurston. It's a very layered project, right? That's an incredibly layered project. And it has all of these nuances. And I think it's because as I've been approaching this research question of this relationship between Black women and the American economy, I've realized that it's a very nuanced question that requires very nuanced tools and techniques in order to explore the very nuanced answer. And there's no one way, there's no one tool, there's no one technique that's going to get me to an answer that I'm going to be okay with, even if that answer means that there needs to be further exploration and study, which I'm guessing that it probably is. So it's really an incredible experience to draw on these research skills that I've had and developed throughout the course of my entire life, encouraged first in the home, in my family, in my immediate family, and then in school, and then at the college level, and then as a teacher, to be able to draw on all of those skills in order to apply them towards a creative project. The idea of making the invisible visible is truly at the center of this project in so many different ways. Making the invisible visible is what this project is about. And I want to get that right. And I want to get that right in not only the materials that I use and the way it's represented and the way that it's visually shown, but then I also want to get it right in the script that I write, in the language, in the spacing, in all of the different things, because there are so many levels, there's so many nuances to this work that is being done. And I want it to be a conversation starter. I want this to be something that people experience, right? Not something that people see, but something that people experience both at the art installation and through the performance, so that a conversation is started in the home, at the local level, in the community, in the neighborhood, in the city, in the state, in the nation. That is the goal. I definitely have big dreams, casting a huge vision here, but that's what I'm hoping for with this project. And I think it's so incredibly relevant because every single day I'm reminded of how necessary it is to quote unquote do the work. And I see so many organizations and individuals struggling to define what the work is. What is it that they react to? What is it that they are going to put their time and their energy and their money to? What are they going to commit themselves to in order to bring about systemic change or in order to keep things the same? Everybody's got to pick their corner. Everybody's got to pick their fight, because we can't fight all the things. We can't do all the things at the same time. But if we each commit ourselves to the things that we are truly committed to, then change will in fact happen. And so it's important that this isn't just art for the sake of art. Though I love art for the sake of art, it is very important to me that this is art for the sake of change, and that it pushes change through conversation and communication. And in order to get that right, it is so important that it is well researched. So, yes, I am writing a narrative literature review for the Labor Pains Project, and it is a daunting task, and it is on the whole unnecessary in order to complete the project. But I am so happy that I am doing it, because already there's such a clear narrative and picture that is being painted for me. And without even meaning to, in my project timeline, I had divided up when I was going to be working on the script and when I was going to be analyzing data and blah, 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 blah. And I'm finding myself already jotting down script ideas and passages and poems and things and pulling from songs. And there's already concepts, performance concepts and art installation concepts that have already come to mind simply because of the initial research. So I'm so excited to dig into this second phase of the research, where I'm really digging into the artifacts of the time periods and the women that I am studying for these body maps, for the historical body maps. And it's really exciting that I'm going to have this time in July in Albany to visit sites and specific places, so that I can really create a script that is specific to that city and that region. And I'm so excited to be able to take that whole process and apply it to Oakland and determine the sites in Oakland that it really means for me to visit and research and study in order to truly do this work and communicate it in a way that spurs conversation.